we're going to set up a Carolina rig. There's a few things you need when you're setting up a Carolina rig. You need some swivels, you need some good weights. This is one of the tungsten weights, 3/4 ounce I'm going to put on. We're also going to put on just an egg weight. You need a swivel, you need some good hooks. We're going to tie on some X-point hooks, 2/0 worm hook is what we're going to try today. We're going to see what happens. So I've got my line. What I've got is 15-pound test on my reel. That's what this line is. I've got a swivel here, and I'm going to use some McCoy fluorocarbon as my leader. What I like to do is tie my leader on my swivel first, right after I put my weight and my bead on. It takes a few minutes to build this, but it catches fish. This is something you can have prepared before you go. You can also prepare you some leaders in case you break off or get hung up, or if you get snagged on the rocks, you'll want to rebuild them. So now I've got a swivel and a leader. I've put my weight and my bead on the line from my rod. Now I'm going to tie that line to the top of my swivel. I like my leader this long. I don't know how long that is, but that's how I measure it. Sometimes they want a shorter leader, sometimes they want something a little longer. You can go anywhere from 6 inches to 6 foot. There's nothing wrong with it. The fish are going to tell you what they want. Now, what we have, coming off my rod tip, weight, bead. The bead is on there just to make noise. You have the swivel, you have the leader, and you have a hook. So the next question is, what kind of bait do we want to put on this? I pulled out some stuff from the boat. These are the Mismo big old huge worm. You see that a lot on a Carolina rig. That's actually what I'm going to put on. Some other choices. A quiver stick tends to work real well on a Carolina rig. Mismo tube works real well on a Carolina rig. This one's actually got some blue fleck in it. It's smoke and blue fleck. Actually a good color for this lake. Another choice would be something smaller. This is actually a Sexy Shad by Robo Worm. Something we might try a little bit later. There's nothing wrong with creature baits either. I throw a lot of creature baits on Carolina rigs. I'm going to show you something new now. This is called a Goliath 10-inch ribbon tail worm, and it's by JC Lures. What we're wanting to do to work the Carolina rig, I've made a long cast. My weight is sitting on the bottom, and I'm just kind of dragging that weight into the rocks. Occasionally you have to lift your rod tip, but what you're wanting to do with that weight is maintain contact with the bottom at all times. It puts your bait out there behind, up a little bit off the bottom, moving around. And you want to make slow movements with your rod tip. If you go and make a big long movement, well, it's moving your bait 2 or 3 foot. A fish this time of year is not, they're kind of slow and sluggish. They're not going to go chasing it down. So what we've done, we've moved out here and we're fishing slow now. So make slow movements with your rod tip, keep in contact with the weight to the bottom. You want to line up the correct rod when you're Carolina rigging as well. You want a 7-foot medium heavy or heavy action rod. I happen to be using a Kistler LTX medium heavy action rod today. What we're doing is just kind of working around in deeper water off this point. Takes a lot of patience with the Carolina rig. It's much slower fishing than, say, throwing a spinnerbait or buzz bait or crankbait. You have to have a little more patience.